Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we journeying back in time to explore one of the most influential and misunderstood empires in history, the Persian Empire. Forget what you've seen in the movies. The real story is far more fascinating. We'll uncover its meteoric rise, its revolutionary governance, its rich culture, and its enduring legacy that still shapes our world today. So, grab your cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's dive into the dazzling history of ancient Persia. Our story begins not with a vast empire, but with nomadic tribes on the Iranian plateau. Among them were the Medes and the Persians. For a while, the Medes were the dominant power. But that all changed with the arrival of one of history's most legendary figures, Cyrus the Great. Around 550 BC, Cyrus, a Persian king, rebelled against his Median overlords. He didn't just win. He united the Medes and Persians, laying the foundation for something the world had never seen before. What made Cyrus so great? It wasn't just his military genius. It was his revolutionary approach to conquest. Unlike other rulers of his time who left a trail of destruction, Cyrus was known for his mercy and respect for local customs. When he conquered the great city of Babylon in 539 BC, he didn't pillage it. Instead, he famously freed the Jewish people who had been held captive there, allowing them to return to their homeland and rebuild their temple. This act is immortalized in the Bible and on the Cyrus cylinder, a clay artifact often considered the world's first charter of human rights. It declared an end to slavery, freedom of religion, and racial equality. This was a radical idea for the 6th century BC and set the tone for the entire Achaemenid dynasty. After Cyrus, his son Cambyses II expanded the empire further, most notably by conquering the ancient and wealthy kingdom of Egypt. But the empire truly reached its zenith under Darius the Great. Darius was a master administrator. Ruling over such a vast and diverse territory, stretching from India to Greece and from Central Asia to Egypt, was a monumental challenge. So how did he do it? Darius's genius was an organization. He divided the empire into provinces, or satrapies, each governed by a satrap, or governor. To keep the satraps in check, he appointed a military general and a state secretary for each province, all of whom reported directly back to him. He also created a network of spies known as the eyes and ears of the king to ensure loyalty and prevent corruption. It was a sophisticated system of checks and balances that maintained stability across his vast realm. But Darius's innovations didn't stop there. To unite his empire, he standardized coinage, creating the gold daric, and silver siglos, which facilitated trade and commerce on an unprecedented scale. He also built the Royal Road, a remarkable highway that stretched over 1,600 miles from Susa in Persia to Sardis in modern-day Turkey. Equipped with way stations and fresh horses, royal couriers could travel the entire length of the road in just 7 days, a journey that would have taken a normal traveler 3 months. This wasn't just a road. It was the internet of the ancient world, allowing for rapid communication, troop movement, and trade. And let's talk about the culture. The Persians were brilliant engineers and architects. Darius commissioned the building of a magnificent new capital, Persepolis. This city wasn't just a political center. It was a showcase of the empire's wealth, power, and diversity. Relief carvings on the walls of its grand staircases depict delegations from every corner of the empire, from Ethiopians to Indians to Scythians, all bringing tribute to the great king. It was a powerful message of unity through diversity, a celebration of the many cultures under Persian rule. The dominant religion of the Achaemenid period was Zoroastrianism, one of the world's oldest monotheistic faiths. Founded by the prophet Zoroaster, it introduced concepts that would later influence Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, such as the idea of a single all-powerful God, a cosmic struggle between good and evil, a final judgment, and the concepts of heaven and hell. It promoted an ethical code based on good thoughts, good words, good deeds, which became a guiding principle for many Persian rulers. Of course, no empire lasts forever. The Persian Empire is often remembered for its conflicts with the Greeks, particularly the Greco-Persian Wars. We all know the stories of Marathon, Thermopylae, and the 300 Spartans. While these battles were significant, they are often told from a purely Greek perspective, painting the Persians as a tyrannical, faceless horde. In reality, It was a clash of two powerful civilizations with very different worldviews. For the Persians, these were frontier wars. For the Greeks, it was a fight for their very existence. The internal weaknesses that eventually plague all great empires began to show. A series of less capable rulers, court intrigues, and rebellions in provinces like Egypt began to weaken the central authority. The final blow came from another legendary figure from the West, Alexander the Great. In a whirlwind campaign starting in 334 BC, the young Macedonian king systematically dismantled the Persian army. The decisive Battle of Gaugamela in 331 BC saw the defeat of Darius III, the last Achaemenid king. Alexander marched into Persepolis and, in an act of symbolic revenge for the burning of Athens a century and a half earlier, he burned the magnificent city to the ground. But here's the fascinating twist. The story of Persia didn't end there. Alexander, far from wanting to destroy Persian culture, deeply admired it. He adopted Persian dress, married a Persian princess, Roxana, and encouraged his men to do the same. He envisioned a fusion of Greek and Persian cultures. While his dream was cut short by his early death, the influence of Persia lived on. After Alexander, the empire was divided among his generals, with the Seleucid dynasty ruling over the Persian heartland. But Persian identity remained strong. In the centuries that followed, new Persian dynasties rose from the ashes. The Parthians, skilled horsemen from the east, drove out the Seleucids and established an empire that would become Rome's greatest rival. They were followed by the Sasanians, who consciously looked back to the Achaemenid era, reviving Zoroastrianism and Persian art and architecture, and clashing with both the Roman and later the Byzantine empires for centuries. This second Persian Empire became a cradle of culture and science, making significant advances in fields like medicine, music, and astronomy that were later transmitted to the Islamic world and Europe. So, what is the legacy of the Persian Empire? It's far more than just ancient ruins and epic battles. The Persians gave us a model for a multi-ethnic, multi-religious empire governed with a surprising degree of tolerance. They created infrastructure and communication networks that were unrivaled in the ancient world. They pioneered administrative systems that are still studied today. Their religious and philosophical ideas about good and evil, free will, and Judgment Day have profoundly shaped global religions. From the words in our language like paradise, bazaar, and magic, to the game of chess and the introduction of the domesticated chicken to Europe, the Persian influence is woven into the fabric of our daily lives. The spirit of Cyrus, Darius, and the great Persian thinkers lives on in the rich cultural heritage of modern-day Iran and the wider region. Their story is a powerful reminder that history is never just black and white. It's a complex, interconnected tapestry of ideas, innovations, and human achievements. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through the Persian Empire. I hope you found it as enlightening as I did. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next historical deep dive. What other empires would you like to see covered? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.